There we go. I just accepted, so you see. So how do I this layout?
You
This
go,
is
how's the
irritating
title?
me. Away, JC.
Lekker. Listen, we've got questions and you gooi a whole 2-page and now I'm not under pressure at all, my friend, eh? Listen,
So
I think you go to like enhance or something at the bottom of your screen and you change the layout of the screen. Some of these TikTokers that swear at each other and cause drama will help you easier.
not the shade. Not the shade. Guys, where do I go to? Where do I go to? Please tell me. I wanna start with JC, because if there's one thing that I've learned about JC, this is an honest brothers, but I will give us the answers that we want. And what I've learned from him in the past is that he will, how can I say, answer it not only in a respectful manner, but also in a way that it's easy to understand. And from an honest perspective, like I said, if he is FSCA regulated, then he has to toe a certain line. So I've heard through the grapevine, JC, that you are FSCA regulated. Now I wanted to know, no? How did that happen, my bro? And how did you get to the point where you are regulated? What did you have to do?
Okay, so firstly, I'm searching ChatGPT how to get this live out of the boxes quickly. So as you click on your guest button, tap the settings and choose one of the layout options. So click on the guest,
Correct.
layout, and then whatever of that. What would we do without ChatGPT? There we go. That's better.
I want to see if I can make it a little bit better. Okay, wait. No, man. I think I'm just gonna leave it on the 2 spots.
Yeah, no problem. That's perfect. That's
There
it.
we go.
That's it. Now it's better.
So, JC, how did it happen, my bro?
Listen,
What are you regulated to do?
so before we get to that, I first want to start by what a journey, dude. Like, they don't mess around. I mean, I see Tranix in here. He's been to the FSCA. I've been to the FSCA. We were in meetings. We did presentations, the whole 9 yards. And eventually it came to a conclusion, listen, but they can't regulate synthetics. And we were like,
So wait. Did you have to do presentations for them?
I actually did me and Sarel, my previous business partner, did a presentation where we show them what synthetics are. Although they are seen as derivatives, CFDs, it still doesn't have a tangible asset. There's no asset under synthetics. It's a simulated market, and they struggled. It's like crypto. There is a form of regulation to it, but they can't regulate that specifically. And then we started in any way. We started to file our bearded FX for the company to get regulated, and then all this stuff came with and said, listen, but you can't just get regulated for this industry. You need derivatives as a class of business, and you need investments as a class of business to provide signals and provide the services you provide. And that was very tough because the requirements on getting this class of business is up to 5 years experience per class of business. So that means you can work up to 5 years under supervision before getting these specific class of businesses for that license. So it was almost impossible for us to get to that point unless we spent another 5 years and closed shop down. But because they didn't regulate the synthetics, we found a loophole and said, well, we're staying on synthetics. We'll stop our Forex side. We actually lost a lot of money stopping the Forex side. We had a lot of subscribers on it, and obviously rebates and everything kicking in and stuff. And yeah, we had to stop that whole division of the business, and it took a toll on us. And then we started checking out what we can do, started doing our RE5 exams and getting the whole 9 yards just ready so that we can proceed in the future. And then what happened is in March this year, I got a mail from one of the guys at the FSCA saying, listen, we just wanted to inform you guys, there has been changes to how we will be regulating in the future. And that already put me, listen, I need to start figuring out what to do. And but we'll get to that shortly. I want to first disclose what the FSCA told us. And he told me there are ways that we can that they can regulate the synthetics, but it won't be in a straight sense of we regulating that industry, because your client can be South African, but if the broker is let's say St. Vincent and Grenadines, you are not a client of South Africa, you're a client of St. Vincent.
True.
So they said, listen, we cannot regulate the synthetic cells, but because it's labeled as a CFD, we can regulate the person providing the sales and the business and the service to the client. And that's where the loophole closed down and said, now we are not regulating the synthetic itself, we are regulating the person or the entity providing a service that can accumulate into a gain or into a deficit. So that means if you give any advice that causes a gain or a deficit on a client's personal money, that means you are a financial service. You should be a financial service provider.
You should be a financial services provider. You know, you just answered. Answered question number 3 for me there now. Because one of the questions that I was going to ask you was, when you sat down with the FSCA, what did you realize is the most important things that they are looking at? And you basically just explained that.
Absolutely. So there's 3 major questions that they ask you. Are you providing a service, whether it's free or paid? Do you have a client, and do they use real money? If one of those are yes, you are a service provider. You are a financial service provider. And that's what screwed us over, actually, because that's what killed the whole industry. And that's why, I don't know if you remember, a lot of guys jumped under white labels a few months ago. They just started going white label, white labels. And some of these companies don't even have a key individual on their FSP.
And that's trouble. That's trouble
because how is the guy that's being white labeled, how is the guy that's working under supervision, who's the key individual that does his compliance?
Do you guys have your key individuals in place though?
So let's get to how we went abroad. So I started speaking to a lot of guys. As I worked with the FSCA and against them, I got to learn to know a lot of people and persons and who can help and assist. And our first option was you're allowed to do this, to pay a key individual that's not in your company to become a key individual in your company, but you have to offer up some of your directorship of your company. And then you do have to remember, to be a financial service provider, the person in your company must have a category 1 or 2 license. And you can only obtain through RE5 or RE1.
Wait, so you have to give, I didn't know that part, that you have to basically stand off a piece of your company to the KI.
Otherwise, if you are a sole proprietor, you need to be your own key individual with representatives underneath you. So you have to do your own compliance and obviously use an external compliance company. So that was a big struggle, because I didn't want to stand down, because you stand down a percentage of your business and you also have to pay that key individual. Not just that, you need to get your RE5 obviously in place to be a representative or work under supervision. Look, the FAIS gives you 2 years to work under supervision, which is fine, but you need your date of first appointment to prove I've already applied for my exam, I'm busy learning.
Okay.
You don't have it. And that's what a lot of these companies also did, that umbrellaed for them. And that's why we objected to it and said, we're not going to do this, because if we get in trouble or if we say something wrong, they are obligated to report us. So I said, no, listen, I need to start making calls and finding out, where can I get a KI that will be willing to be on board? Where can I get an external compliance officer? Where can, like Marsted, where can I start finding this and doing my RE5 to get my company regulated? And by God's grace, I got onto a call one day with someone who said, listen, I've got an opportunity for you, but you're going to pay. I was like, all right, this sounds a bit sketchy, but let's talk, because I didn't know. It's the first time I met the guy and everything. He said, listen, I've got a company that was a previous company that's been regulated, that's already has a key individual in place, that already has representatives on board, and one of the partners are moving overseas. There's shares becoming available and a directorship role with a CEO position, which makes it possible for me to purchase a company that's already licensed by the FSCA.
Oh, so
And
you got money.
no, I can't disclose that. So I said, right, but what will this take of me? He said, obviously your cash. And secondly, you're going to still have to do your RE5. And I said, great, I've already applied for my examination and everything. But the reason why this was much more appealing is because I am now a CEO and a director and a major shareholder in that company. I can now bring my other companies under my name onto the same license, because the entity
Belongs to you, but
it belongs to me. So that played a very big role, but it opened so many possibilities up as well. So essentially, the same route you had to follow, it's just a bigger transaction that I could afford to do and to run with it. And now I can say, listen guys, I can start doing derivative portfolios, I can start doing everything, and we're also planning on a prop firm. So yeah, that's how JC got regulated, and I'm proud to say all of my companies are now regulated by the FSCA. I've got my compliance officers, I've got my key individuals, I've got my representatives.
So what services were you looking to bring under your umbrella?
So firstly, obviously, and mainly, it's Bearded FX. It's my pride and joy. It's a company that I built hard on, and it was very sad for me to get to a point where the FSCA said, either you close your doors or you get regulated. By hell or high water, and by, I think, faith alone, this opportunity came across my way to say, listen, here's the opportunity, either you take it or you leave it. And especially with business that tanked after this whole epidemic in the Forex industry and you exposing everyone, it wasn't easy to come by that amount of money, you understand? So yeah, that's about the whole story, and it's played out for the best.
So can you say what services are you regulated to do? Because that is one of the questions that I have here.
Currently, you'll see the FSP. Are you in front of your PC?
I'm in front of my
actually want
PC.
you to say what products we are allowed to do. Our FSP is still under Mzansi, but it will shortly be obviously changed to BFX Asset Management. That will be our umbrella company, and that will be in doing our compliance.
What is your FSP number?
It's 49191.
49191.
And then
Global Markets.
under the representatives, you'll also find my business partner there. I will be loaded on a bit later. I'm sure he is in the live, and I'll just confirm with him. But I'll be on the reps as well within the next few weeks.
Okay, yeah. There's nog one name here that I know, and Andrew Walker. But now it looks good, regulated, and so you bought majority share in here.
Major shares in the company with a CEO opportunity or the CEO role, and on the board of directors. Yes.
Yo, that's a feat, my bro. And for me, seeing that you have now purchased a company with regulation, and you are still planning to do your own regulation for yourself, personal
Myself, yes. So the FSCA, and with my meeting in the month with them, my advisor at the FSCA, I can't call his name on lives. I'm not disclosed to do that, but he told me JC, you know what, this is all fine because you are the face of the company. You can entrust yourself as a marketer because you already do have representatives now and you do have a key individual. So it means you can do whatever you want, but the company will be responsible for whatever actions follow. And this is a point I also want to bring up. Remember, having an FSP doesn't exempt you from doing with what the fuck you want. You can't just do what you want, say what you want, sell what you want. You need to be accountable, and you're going to be held accountable for what you do. And I think that's what the industry needed the most, because everyone's cowboys in this industry at the moment. They just going crazy. Look, we do have free products. We do work on a rebate system, but most of our products are paid products. I'm highly against free products. They just don't work. Klar. And if they do, it's one or two or three companies that's got a reputable product line that's been supporting them. So that for me was one of the main concerns. And when the FSCA, I'm going to actually read to you what I think I sent it to you. I want to read to you what the FSCA said, who they are targeting specifically. They said here, the report underscores several highlighted risk areas that will inform the FSCA's enforcement priorities in the year ahead. The FSCA has a budget of 200 million rand to enforce this. They've already written out 119 million rand worth of fines. And the main targets they are looking at is online harm, including social media scams, i.e. forex trading robots, digital marketing and everything like that, signal providers, and finfluencers. It's actually factual on this report. And then misuse of financial licenses to front as unauthorized operations, which happens in where? Most of the white labeling.
True. And I've seen, that is one thing that I've predicted, because I think I've seen Joes do that and another trader, and then I was like, nah, this is gonna be the trend. This is what people will be doing for a while now, because it is such an easy buyout, if I can call it that. You understand? Just get or just be a juristic rep under someone and move with that. But obviously, you now chose a more legitimate and a more solid route. And for me, that is also really important that you move with your own licenses. And for me, it's actually very important that you have your own license, because at the end of the day, when you have your own license, like you say, sure, you are subjected to a lot of rules, but then also you are allowed to do what you are doing, basically. So I wanted to say this. To my knowledge, you are the first synthetic signal provider that is properly regulated. I will say, saying that you now put majority share of a regulated entity, and congratulations on that, because that is a big feat. But I would like to know, now that you have extra eyes, how has things changed for you?
It's changed a lot. It made me learn what the whole FAIS Act is all about and what the actual regulatory framework behind it is. And that's scary. You don't understand how strict they are. They don't come to you and tell you, listen, we think what you're doing is wrong. They come to you and say, we've got all this, where you're doing this. Yeah, fine, klar. And they debar you. So it highlighted for me how serious and how volatile our industry actually is at the moment. Because you can't just go running around and saying, this will do this and this will do that, and we guarantee this and we guarantee that. If you can stand by your word. Example, if you are a financial service provider, your company needs to have a KI and a representative, or a representative that can stand in as a KI. If you are not that, you can go under any white label. You are still not a regulated entity. Your company is not a regulated entity. And that's what I learned, and that's why we didn't go that route. It was an easy route, paying one of those guys 10 grand a month and being regulated, which I'm not a big fan of, because if something happens to that company, like a key individual that's not there anymore, what do I do then? And what if I say something wrong? Now I am responsible for what I say. I am responsible for what I do. No one else. My business is responsible for what happens. And if we cannot provide solid proof, and I want to get to solid proof as well, we are subject to a audit. And if that audit hits and you're wrong, you're in big shit.
You
Big
big
shit.
shit. 100%.
Not just that,
Look,
the
I just-
regulatory framework around even the signals, we actually got a whole set of things we need to change now, because firstly, you are no longer allowed to provide a signal without the time it was sent, the day it was sent, the date, what market, what was the gain and what was the loss on minute. So they say all clients are always subject to their own lot sizes. Yes, understandable. But if you provide a minimum lot, if I trade on a minimum lot, my gains must be more than my losses if I do a guarantee that we are profitable. You are no longer allowed to guarantee you are profitable in this industry if you do not have a log sheet, an Excel spreadsheet, which goes to your compliance officer every month or 2 months or 3 months or every week, depending on what they ask. And if you can't provide that, and a client comes and says, listen, I was at this company, I wanna audit on them because they are what do you call it? They are fraudulent or whatever, or they misrepresenting what they do. If I don't have that sheet to show this is the date, the time, the market, the lot size, the minimum lot, and the gain and the loss, that client, and you do have to need a refund policy with that. If I cannot do that, I'm subject to audit.
Hey.
What's the first thing you don't ever want to happen in your life or in financials? The FSCA mustn't audit you.
True. They go deep.
You deep in shit. Very deep.
That sounds intense, and it sounds like the conversation that you had with him. It sounded like it was intense, but it also sounded like you learned a lot and you came out a bit stronger. And with this, that you are now getting self-regulated, I would say, how would you fit in study time with what you are still busy with? You know, like with your signal provision and customer service and all of that, because I know that's a big deal to you. And to my
So I'm
knowledge,
very blessed to have a very good structure behind my company. Any man that tells you he can run his company on his own is lying, especially if you work with a high influx of clients. You do need to have some framework. A person who's telling you, I'm the signal provider, I'm the trader, I'm the educator, I handle the payments and everything, it's physically impossible. It is physically, there's no time. You can't have time to trade, work with, or speak to 800,000. Some of the guys outside there's got 10,000 clients. I know Chanique and Dild and them's got 10 to 15,000 clients. There's no way you can work with all those clients, and that's why those companies obviously employ people to manage the stuff that they can't. So having the time to study, you make time for it. Not every day is a trading day. Any good trader will tell you that as well. So the times that you do not trade, you're either busy with business or studying.
That's a nice thing to, because very often, people want to go that route of getting regulated, but now they can't balance things out properly. And that is also just why I wanted you to come on the live, so that you can just give us insights on like how you did it and how you went about, so that it can be like a source of inspiration to others. Because as you know, JC, in this industry, people aren't taking serious the regulation side of things, and I don't think that they are that familiar with the stringent consequences that might come with them not being regulated and then still continue giving services while not being regulated. When it comes to the consequences that that would be faced, what is the most scariest one for you?
Prison. Bruh, I'm not built for prison. But But the thing is, that's what the people don't understand. They think everything is about trading robots, synthetic markets, signals, selling, and it's not that. It's to grow in the financial industry. The financial industry is so big. It's very, very big. Getting yourself regulated doesn't only open you to signals and trading robots and trading. It opens you to so much more than that. And that at the end of the day is the aspirations you need to have. Is you need to build businesses. I like to build business. And yes, I'm in the trading environment, but this for me, getting regulated is more than a door that's being opened to additional possibilities, additional incomes, additional things I can do. So, and there's a lot of people that saying, listen, trading robots are scams, and everyone's got their own opinion. Understand? And everyone is fair to have their own opinion. It's fair for everyone to have opinion. I believe in what I do. You believe in what you do. You understand? I believe the digital marketing blueprint is a potcock. They believe trading is a potcock. Same, but different.
True. I wanted to ask you, with that prop firm that you said you are looking to start, what made you think of that?
So look, one of the benefits of expanding business, and this is a major thing that we've seen, there's a lot of people that want to get into trading that do struggle and that are not willing to educate themselves. Bringing a prop firm in like that, a South African-based prop firm that's fully regulated and reliable, opens a door to guys to have challenges and pass them and become funded. If they become funded, their trading capital essentially is risk-free because you're trading with a funded account. And above and beyond that, it's not as emotional as trading with your own money. And only the people who actually do educate themselves around trading will pass challenges and make money. The other will fail. Absolutely. And that puts the whole trading environment into your hands. I mean, would you rather trade with your money or someone else's money?
I would rather trade with someone else's money.
Exactly. So if you're willing to educate yourself, get yourself the knowledge that you need to start trading the financial markets, you're going to pass your challenges and make money.
True.
If you don't, you're not going to be a trader. And that eliminates the blame on signal providers, on trading robots, etc., etc., etc. Because if you can't completely pass a challenge like that, you won't be a successful trader.
Tell me, under your umbrella that you're gonna add bearded FX to, will there be like classes, mentorship, and things?
With the trading environment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've been doing classes and mentorship for the past 2 years, almost 4 years now, that we've been mentoring clients, and we really do have success stories. And this is also a thing that will continue to happen. The nice thing about that is it opens a door to education as well, because there will be free education for you. Obviously, we want you to pass a challenge. We want you to trade. We want to build a community, etc. And the only way to do that is through education. The only way to build this industry is through education.
True. People are so misinformed. People are, if I can say it like this, because of how this industry has been portrayed, people are quick to look at quick gains, but like it's not all that, and when I look at your robot that I reviewed, when was it, last year? When I look at the results that came from it, like I said, it is the best result that I had in that series of reviews, because
And let me just highlight this. You scream trading robots are shit.
Nah, I still scream it, but when it comes to the bots that I've reviewed, right, your one gave the best results. I was able to withdraw not only money for myself, but when the review period got done, I could still pay your money back in terms of the deposit that you put into that account. And that didn't happen with the other bots that that I was reviewing at that time. So while I've always wanted to ask you, it always just slips my mind, man. When I was doing those reviews, and look, I know I can at times be very anal about things, but
Criticism.
I wanted to ask you, like, were you nervous, my bro?
Bro, I'm nervous now. I mean, it's never easy talking to you. Fuck. Have you seen what you've done in this industry? What you've done to it? You've called out the real from the fake. You've called out the honey from the shit. You are
True.
here to explain. You are not here to explain to a fly why honey is better than shit. Understand? So you are the bee of the industry, keeping things clean. I mean, there's so much that you've exposed, so many scary stuff that people don't pick up on, and you pick up on it. You do your due diligence, and I think that's and not to blow smoke up your ass. I mean, we had a very rough start when we started to know each other.
Facts.
We were
Facts.
shouting at each other, calling Makar racist and everything.
Look, now I have to actually, now that that is in addressance, or now that it's being spoken about, I actually do have to like apologize for that, because that can have very bad consequences on on people's businesses, I would say. But at the time, I didn't know you. I misread your comment for something that it never should have been. So for that, I'd just like to take the moment to apologize there. I don't think I have apologized for that in the past.
It's
So,
never necessary, dude. Don't
so
worry.
I just have to apologize there, because I was wrong. I was wrong. Um, I wanted to ask you this. And I'm not gonna name the company now, no, but with certain white labels and their KIs just disappearing like that, what guarantee do we have that the KIs and the officers that you have put in place won't just spot overnight?
Well, firstly, because we're going to be compliant with the FSCA, as we actually are very compliant. We've got trade history for the last 3 years, that on every single trade we've given. So we were compliant before we needed to. We were always scared this will happen. So we got our shit together before it happened. We were prepared before the bomb. And listen, the FSCA drops a bomb tonight. They'll drop a new bomb. Tomorrow it's law. So
True.
it changes like the weather changes. And that's you won't, if you do your business right, if you are honest and honorable, you'll never lose a KI or a representative. I guarantee you that. If you do business the right way, you adhere to the financial sector's rules and the authority, you can't go wrong. You'll never end up in a position where you have to run away. And one of the main, if you go read the FAIS Act, one of the main service provision protocols is you must have a money back guarantee for at least up to 30 days. You must keep every client's data for 5 years. Every single client you deal with.
Hectic.
Which one of these guys that offer signals or mentorships or stuff actually do it? How many people can say they've got every single WhatsApp from all their clients since their business started?
So it sounds like you have to comply if you are regulated with a whole lot of extra rules.
A lot of extra rules. A lot of extra rules. But it's better to comply with extra rules than not be regulated and being barred from the industry.
Because I must now also have to do my my ORI 1 or ORI 5, which I'm currently studying for, which is where that influences thing must now come in, and even though I have kept it clean on my end to just work with like regulated brokers and stuff, I still want to complete that. And I never knew it was this much work, maybe. And I was obviously don't have the kind of crew to buy an entity, buy majority share in an entity.
But listen, also there's a fine line between when and what you have to do. If you're a influencer and you're just giving advice and you don't have an actual client, you're a finfluencer. You still need to be regulated. Well, not regulated. You need to have your advisory license. That's all. You don't have to be a financial service. It's only when you start providing a service, whether it's free or paid, when you give a service. If you become a client of mine, I'm a service provider. So when you are not a service provider and what you do, you're an influencer and you're speaking out of place of knowledge. I don't think there's actually that much compliance that you can do, or there's no records that you do have to keep because you are a influencer. You're just gonna have to keep all your videos to back you up.
That because when you were speaking now, all of the stuff that the FSCA want, I was like, fuck it, am I gonna have to do all of these things?
And remember, all of this I learned in the past year and I can reference back. I think I had about I've had 6 meetings in the FSCA's office and 1 presentation with trading robots and signals with them. I was in a meeting with the HOA. His name is Deketso as well. They know me quite well. So there's a lot of battle bruises that you go through when you try and get yourself to a point that you become dysregulated. It's not easy. And yes, by faith alone, it came across my road. But not everyone has that privilege to be able to purchase a major shareholding in a company that is regulated and get yourself on board as a representative. You understand? It's not every guy that's got a. I'm going to leave it to just get in your head what a license like that would cost.
Now, I can already begin to imagine the amount of the amount of money that would like move that direction in order for you to get done what you have to get done. So with all of these things in place, the FSCA regulation and the prop firms, and guys, we will come to your comments now. Now I just want to get through the questions that I have here.
The interrogation.
Because like I said, Jace is one of the guys in the past that he would say what it is straight off. He would answer you, and I just knew that I had to get him here because people aren't that clued up. Like I also learned a shitload here tonight, my bro. Especially when it comes to what the FSCA is looking for and the loopholes you need to jump through to basically get regulated. So with that and with the regulation thing, how do you feel that it will set you apart from the rest? Because if you are real, there's synthetic signal providers out there, there's bot sellers out there, there's course providers out there. How do you think you will now stand apart from the others?
Firstly, confidence in clients. I mean, if you would rather work with an Investec than a Jan Piet that offers you like the social media scam saying, how is your trading going? You want to invest 1,000 by me and get 28,000 back. I don't know if you've seen those messages. I've got them from you as well before, from one of your scam accounts, your fake accounts. This guy was contacting me and I was like, I know Mr. Idol. He's not going to tune me this. I was like, what the f*** are you doing? Would you rather go with an entity that's being regulated and the eyes are on them than a person who is not? Firstly, that sets you apart. The variety of new business. Obviously, we've got a few big things in the pipeline. But remember, and I spoke to my business partner in the new company with us as well. I said, remember, if you've got a holding company with a group of companies, you're so much more reliable. Go look at the big rollers, the big institutions out there. Discovery doesn't just do medical aid. They do banking. They do finance. They do actually do finance now. They do policies. They do everything. This opens up. Will you work with a company that offers you all of that? Or will you work with a company that offers you one thing that's maybe going to work?
I'll be real, my bro. I'd rather go with a regulated entity because when it comes to
I want to
the type
interrupt
of
you. Sorry. Would you put your money into a broker that's not regulated, and you never know if you're going to see your money again, or would you put your money into a broker that you know that needs to pay you if there's something wrong?
now I'd rather move with a regulated entity, because what I have realized, and I don't know if you've watched the video that I made about veracity markets. When you are regulated, obviously, like you mentioned, you are subject to a whole lot of rules, but also the consequences that, like veracity markets, the business itself, 10 mil fine. The two founders, Dane and Shelley, each one got 1 million rand fine. Novesh Financial Services, whom they were working under, that one also got a fine. 100,000 rand fine, the directors there, or the key individuals there. But what I wanted to basically know is that, like like you said now, and I mean, with the collapse of veracity markets, it kind of reinforces what you say on the consequences and the strict end of their operations and their due diligence. But I wanted to know now, if veracity can spot like that and they can get fined, fucked up like that, my bro. How are you structuring things to make sure that you don't also end up there? Because let me give you the reason why I asked that. When veracity closed down, there's a lot of people that couldn't get to their money, and a lot of entities aren't that honest, where they are like, oh no, there's certain rules you have to follow to get to your kroon. But on your end, what have you put in place to ensure that you don't go down that route?
Look, first, I don't think it's necessary to put something in place that wouldn't happen. There's no saying what the future holds, but I wouldn't focus necessarily on that we're just going to spot. It's easy for one company to just break apart and disappear, but it's very hard for a group of companies to just vanish, firstly. Secondly, the amount of clients we are working with that has been with us for 3 to 4 years will even comment. I'm sure there's a clients in the comment section that will throw how we do our business. It's open, it's truthful, it's honest. And everyone always knows where they stand. And, about 2 years ago, we had a product that wasn't doing within the first, I can't exactly remember how long it was, but we gave a guarantee that in the first certain amount of days, it will build you a profit. That product did not get to a point where it did that, and we had to refund all those clients. We did a refund of about 850,000 rand in total for all those clients. So that's one of the aspects that keeps us going, is that we do have these policies in place. We offer our signals and say, if you're not profitable within your first week, I'll give you your subscription money back. If you purchase a trading robot,
That is confidence on the next level.
for signals, signals isn't guaranteed, but if you don't make your at least make your subscription back within the first week on our signals, we give you your subscription money back. Yeah, take it. And we leave you on the group. Same with our trading robots. If you are not profitable within your first month, we give you a refund on it. You can choose to stay longer, but we offer a refund on it. So that's the type of things you need to look at in this. And you are obligated to do this from the FSCA, actually. And nobody knows that because no one did their research. I don't know if you've seen, I've disappeared for a whole lot of months off of social media. I went quiet.
100%. I was actually, that is one of the questions that I was going to ask you. When you disappeared for that while, because I wouldn't say you were chronically online, but you would post every day and it just stopped.
Yeah.
And in that time that it stopped, were you busy with your regulation things?
Absolutely, because the main thing that happened is when the FSCA first came out with that, I don't remember, I don't know if you can recall the podcast that came out from, what was his name? Andre van Deventer. Remember when they said signals are now seen as financial advice, etc. Our signal group actually closed down for 3 months. and a lot of my clients will remember this. We closed down completely until I got a partner on board who actually had his Category 1 license in place, that we could just function for the time being until we got ourselves into a position where we can get ourselves regulated. And that was the hardest part. I mean, closing down business that brings a lot of money in every month, it's always hard, and you have to pay out of your pocket to keep going, and that's not easy. That's not easy. But to get back to that, I don't think necessarily it's just disappearing. It's the vision we've got to build future businesses. And listen, I'm in a position now with my licensing that I can start doing funeral policies if I want. I can do everything except medical aid. So I can start businesses up in the financial sector now and expand. So a company won't just disappear that's busy expanding. That's my opinion, and obviously my.
Are you gonna go down? Ja, nee, dan moet ek ook mos regulated word as 'n mens soveel goed kan doen.
Rydel,
So
weet jy baie kan jy doen
you're
as jy.
gonna
En weet jy, ek het so lank teen dit geskop. I kicked, you know how long I kicked against this licensing. You know how long I kicked and said, nah, synthetics, nah, this, nah, that, nah, this. But as soon as you get your RE5 and you start going through your RE1 and you can start becoming financial, into a financial space like that, you can start a business and start doing policies and funeral policies and shares and short-term insurance, long-term insurance. You can start businesses that, and there's a lot of advisors out there that want to work under a company like that. So why not? If you've got the ammunition, why not fire at the shooting range? Yeah, it's
that I must say, my bro, that's a very smart idea, because recently one of the people that I also have a very good relationship, Vitedo. He is actually, because he also used to be a service provider, and I never thought that I would see the day that a trader himself would like leave service provision, and he would go, while he's still trading for himself, he would go full in on a different business. So what I've seen with Vitedo is that he's moving into furniture. And for me, it was just like,
well, that's weird.
huh?
Look, I'm not necessarily going to move into a different space. Everything related financial is always good. And it's not necessarily that all your attention is divided. Once again, that's why you build a framework. No business is a business without a framework. Like I said, there's a lot of financial advisors out there who wants to work for a brokerage company who does policies and stuff like that, like funeral policies and stuff. So it's not necessarily that you're going to work. You're going to employ people to build your business for you. So essentially, that's the long-term goal, is to build businesses.
Build sustainable businesses.
Build sustainable businesses. Build generational wealth. That's every and trading is absolutely still my main focus, and it will always be my main focus, because that's my most successful part of myself. Because in trading, it's you versus you always. It's not you versus the world. It's if you take sorry, if you take losses, it's your own damn fault. It's not the market's fault. People blame the market so regularly. I can cock in my pants if I hear, no, it was the market. It was you, my bro. You messed up.
Someone in the comments is asking you, would like to understand what pushed you to be regulated. So before JC answers that, let me just say it. JC is a service provider, and legally, Forex service providers, or financial service providers rather, they are required. Look, if you are trading for yourself, you don't have to be regulated. But JC is a service provider, so it's kind of a requirement for him to be regulated, to give that kind. And look, for me, it is in the benefit of the client, because not only do you have the FSCA that is like lingering there that you can go and complain to, but when it comes to the scrutinizing of things now, if you guys think I'm thorough and I go deep in my videos, I must scratch the surface. The FSCA goes deep, deep, deep. So Yeah, what pushed you, JC?
Firstly, I kicked against it for very, very long, and Rydell knows this very well because we've had a lot of chats in the past of why I don't want to get regulated, and you never knew it would come to this, like getting regulated. It sounds so stupid because, I mean, every person is still trading on their own discretion. Why would we have to do this? Why? It's not even a financial asset in the synthetics. And then I got to a point where last year, especially when the FSCA jumped into the industry, it caused havoc, a lot of havoc, and Rydell was one of the instigators of that. And I think the biggest thing that got me to a point where I had to scramble and say, listen, I need to get my shit together was the fear of losing my business, the fear of getting $1 million to $3 million. They saw me doing 5 million rand fines on a C. Getting a fine, getting debarred, not being able to work in the financial sector ever again. So I think it was fear that driven me to the conclusion that, listen, you need to do this, otherwise you're going to sit with your ass in jail, and I don't want to do that. I'm not built for jail. My bum is not that happy with that.
So I wanted to ask you this. The day that the FSCA released, and look, this is basically just a question that is focused on you.
Sorry, I just want to answer.
Like throwing shade on anyone else. But the day the FSCA released their warning, and Trunique's company was like right at the top. And the reason why I'm asking this is because the bots that you guys must now have, or let me rather say the things that you have in common when it comes to service provision, because both of you must do synthetics, both of you do robots, both of you do signals. But what I wanted to ask you, when you saw his name there, number one on that list, were you nervous?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I want to laugh, but I just had to ask that.
I'm next. My first impression was, I'm next. Listen, me and Chunique, we set our differences aside. We said it's better for us, better for the industry. We don't have to be friends. We just need to tolerate each other. That's all. So we actually got on a call the other day, and I said to him, listen, let's just leave it. I mean, I'm over it, you're over it. The whole industry is over it. And we're on good terms. But to get back to that, yeah, I was like, first thing that went through my mind, and that was in the heat of the moment as well when they released that, because that was just after, I think you made a video to say the FSCA is now getting into the signal provision. And it was also just after Andre, is it Andre, of Johan van Deventer, or Andre van Deventer, I can't remember his name, from the FSCA. Gerard van Deventer, yeah, there we go. When he posted that podcast, right after that it happened, and I was like, shit, we need to get our stuff sorted out. And it was fear, it was completely fear. But I'm also happy that I started learning all the regulatory framework, because it started making, only after a few months, it started making sense why all these frameworks are in place. Why is this in place? It's to protect the consumer, and to protect not only the consumer but the business as well, because not every client is right and not every client is wrong, but not every business is right and not every business is wrong. And if you're working in finances, there's a fine line between right and wrong, very fine line, and you need to have the right line. So there was a question here that I just want to get back to. That was what pushed me to get regulated. It was completely the fear. And there was another one to ask if we are FSP. I want to get back to on Veracity. You know, Veracity was a juristic rep. They weren't a FSCA regulated entity.
Facts. And that is why they got fucked so hard.
And that's why they can just collapse and disappear, because they're JR.
They're juristic rep.
If you're a regulated entity, you can't just collapse and disappear. You're going to prison, my friend.
True. And that is why, to me, I just wanted to get to the bottom of like your regulation, man. Like, are you regulated? Is it a solid thing? Will the services that you are providing, will that be regulated? Because the way that Veracity just packed up, and let's be real, on a broker perspective, they shut out that 12 million rand probably like it's fuck all. because
Yeah.
of the amount that they made. Look here, someone in the comments are even saying they brought in 11 million rand deposits for Veracity. So that is why I just wanted to ask you that, because we have seen so many juristic reps come and go, but for me it's just like, what?
There's a big difference between regulated and being a JR.
And true.
That is
So
why I took the step of becoming full regulated and not a JR. Because if you're
is
full regulated,
is that a long play? Is that like a long, for like longevity, I would say?
very, because business operations are always scrutinized under a license. You can't. It's like giving a guy a learners and telling him to drive through a roadblock alone. He's gonna get into shit. If you've got a physical license, you are free to operate in your lane.
True.
To adhere. It's like driving a car. You get a license to drive a car to adhere to the road rules and road safety and drive in your lane. That's it's the same thing with finances. You get a license to operate in your lane safely without jogging kakan. Because if you start jogging kakan, the metro comes in. If you start jogging, the FSCA is the metro of the road.
Facts. They are the metro of the
Of the financial industry.
financial industry. Yeah. So
Sorry, Tyler, we are local. So, local South Africa, you need to be regulated through the Financial Sector Conduct Authority to operate.
someone is asking you if you have FSP level 1 or 2.
We are FSP level 1 with advisory and intermediary licensing. Thus, we will not at the moment be doing copy trading as well, because you need a category 2 for that, which is a discretionary license. So
Are you gonna fulfill that?
absolutely no, we're not going to do copy trading at all. Not now. Maybe in the future, but then we'll have to level up our license. That's it. But we are not looking into that at the moment. There's too big of a risk at the moment in South Africa. I don't know if you saw XM also remove their copy trading completely.
Yeah.
They removed it completely. So that's a thing that we won't do at the moment.
Sorry, Jason, because even though your company is registered in America, if you are doing business in South Africa, you have to be regulated in South
100%,
Africa.
yes.
Whether you that is why you would find XM, your Xness, all of these companies that comes from Cyprus, that's like literally across the road from each other. They all have FSCA licenses, and it's basically that. And when you look at the licensing, you will see that some is regulated in UK, some is regulated in Seychelles, Saint Vincent and Grenadines, all of that. So where you do business in, ultimately you have to be regulated for that. So JC's business field, I would say, is South Africa, right? So that means you would have to be regulated with the South African entities.
Yes, the rule says as soon as you have a South African client, you need a financial service provider license. As if you even have just one client in South Africa that's using your product to have capital gains or take losses, obviously, you need to be a financial service provider. And they're also starting to regulate the trading robots under Category 1 advisory license as well. Not advisory, intermediary as well. I've actually got a mail about that. I'll send you a screenshot where they sent it to me.
That is intense, because a whole lot of people that's been selling robots is now going to have to stop.
Even if it's free.
Why didn't you just get CompliShield? Why didn't you just get CompliShield?
I don't want to become a JR. It's too high of a risk. I've got a group of companies and I want to do it by the book.
Look, what I can say, guys, is that regardless, I really respect the determination of JC, because when you are a juristic rep, right, to become a juristic rep is much cheaper than to become regulated yourself. So
Not
And
just
also,
that.
that is like the easy way out, my bro.
Not
If
just that.
your FSP now decides they don't want to do business anymore, where are you going to?
Not
Because you
just
are
that.
working under them.
When you become a juristic representation, there are rules to it. You must already have applied for your RE5 examination and get your date of first appointment from the FSCA. So even if you are a juristic rep, you need someone that supervises you in your business. So there's still a rule regarding this. It's so easy to say let's onboard as a JR, but one wrong move and your company, someone called CompliShield, I can't remember what the name was, but Complish or whoever they are. If you're umbrellaing, and let's say Rydal, you umbrellaing under me, and you say something that I don't agree with or that could cause risk to my license, I am obligated to report you to the FSCA.
Ooh.
So there's the risk for me, and obviously being a trader, we need to manage our risk.
True, true. At all times.
We need to manage our risk. So that's why we went for, and like I said, this was a long-term idea that I wasn't planning on having so quickly. But like I said, a lot of faith and a lot of trust, and the being in the right place at the right time, this opportunity came across my road and made my life a whole lot easier, but at a cost. There's always a cost. And just some advice to the guys, some financial advice to the guys out there now that I can give it. Some financial advice. Always assess your risk before going into a company like mine. Even with my company, make sure you can talk to me. Make sure you can ask me for results for the past year at least, and make sure I've got a reputable company before you do business, even with me.
Now, you know what you just said, my bro? I respect that, because at the end of the day, you're leaving the due diligence up to the client. But it's not only that you're leaving the due diligence up to them, you are also telling them, but listen, ask for results. And I think that is something that isn't spoken about that often in this industry. And
I'm not saying my withdrawal history, I'm saying my client's history, not mine, because I can tell you I'm making $1 million a month, or I can tell you I'm making 10 cents a month. If my client's making money, that's the main responsibility of our company. Your client, not yourself. A lot of guys flashes millions and millions and millions of rands, but do their clients actually prosper like that? That's the question.
True. That is nogal a loaded question, because one of the conversations, or one of the topics that I recently spoke about, was FX Code, and they are the biggest team, I would say, groupie, I would say, when it comes to like influencing and stuff like that. But they were also really disingenuous about how they went about things and all of that. Kijk, I have to say, your decision to move through the regulated side of things, right? That will be for me a more inspiration to this industry, because now those that were inspired by you, that's also doing services, they are gonna get regulated, and those that's haters of yours, they are also gonna get regulated. Otherwise, they can't sit at the table that you are sitting.
And this came with a bang, because it came in silence. We didn't talk about it at all.
So true. Fuck, I didn't even know.
I tried to get Bearded FX regulated as an entity on its own, but like I said, to get that type of license takes so long that your business won't prosper at all, because you'll have to shut down operations before the time you get your license, the right license. Because if you do provide signals or a financial product in the forex space, you need a license or a class of business for derivatives, investments, and shares. You must have it. There's no two ways about it. There's different types of licenses you need to get. It's not just getting an RE5.
Do you think that with this recent budget of 200 million that's been made available to the FSCA, and obviously, like, you almost now going to be one of the companies that still stands because you are regulated and stuff, do you think that that is going to make a huge difference in our industry?
I promise you, Rydell, from what I've heard the last month, companies are going to close down left, right, and center if they don't get their shit together. I'm going to be honest about it. And I'm not against anyone in the industry. Will always be my competition. And I'm not here to shit on anyone, but my advice is get your shit in order because I know what's coming. And we've known you know what's coming.
True.
You know what's coming. We all know what's coming. The FSCA wouldn't have received a 200 million rand budget that's being audited. It's an audited budget. It's not just a budget that they're giving to them. It's an audited budget that enforces just for our sector, 200 million. I would be scared.
You are regulated and you know you are safe from that now.
But not safe. You're never safe because you still remember. Once again, it's a driver's license. If you're gonna drive junk, you're gonna get into shit. If I'm gonna do and say stuff that I can't do and say, or mislead people, or advertise under false pretenses, I'm gonna get into shit. I'm gonna get either my license suspended or I'm gonna get a fine. They usually do fines. The FSCA likes to write like a 50 or 100K, depending on what your, and you've got a certain amount of points with them as well until your license gets taken away. And once your license has been taken away from you, you get debarred for a certain amount of years. You can't get a license again.
Yo.
It's the same as your vehicle license being suspended.
The debarments I know about now, but like I never knew it was this intense, man, bro.
And Theo I want to actually call Theo on this. He's actually in here. He's a financial advisor. I know Theo since this shit started in the industry. I started with taking advice from Theo. He's a financial advisor and he told me, listen, get yourself, do this, do that, start doing this. And he can tell you the same thing. Stuff's coming into the Forex industry that we don't understand. There's big fines coming. I'm going to send you that thing. You can make it available on your socials if you want, maybe on a YouTube video, where there's 119 million rands worth of fines already that's been handed out. 119 million rand.
Sure, that's a lot of money. That's a shit ton of money. And for me, I know for a fact, bro, many of these people that's going to get these fines, they can't pay it. They won't be able to pay it.
No, they're going to get locked up. Not just that, there is, 576. I think I'm talking under correction. Please don't take this. I think it was 576 open cases against Forex traders in South Africa at the FCA.
500 cases.
76 or something like that. Open cases.
Yo, that's actually a lot, my bro.
So I don't think it's just for influencers. I think it's right across the whole country.
Because there has been a lot going on, even on other financial products in like the insurance, like stockvels and stuff. So
people impersonating other people as well. There's a lot of public warnings against, there was a public warning against people impersonating me also at the time, because there's fake profiles of mine that message people and say, listen, if you invest this amount of money with me, I never contact a client to ask them want to invest money with me. We also wait for the client's first point of contact. That is, you can advertise as much as you want, but have you ever seen Investec phoning people and asking, listen, do you want to invest with us? No, they advertise and they wait for the client's contact.
True. Yo, like again, it sounds like the time that you have been quiet, that you took off social media. I'm impressed, man. Because like I said in the past, from having dealt with you, with reviewing your robot and stuff, when I had criticism for you, you must took it on the chin. You never, this is one thing that I like about you. You never, when I gave criticism to the other robots that I reviewed, they always used, you Rydell, you are too rough. You just say anything. Can't you say nice? Like, you never tried to coerce me to say something that the results wouldn't back up. And from my dealings with you there, I already, for me it was like, now you are a solid bride, and seeing that you have walked this road to do the FSCA regulation, for me it just it solidifies you, man. It solidifies you in ways that some people would never think possible. Even that I wouldn't think, was when you explained where you can branch out into. For me, it was like, nah, this is actually a really fucking smart move of you.
Absolutely. I mean, any businessman would do, if you keep all your eggs in one basket and the basket falls, what do? You need to expand.
You
You're
fuck.
100%, you need to expand. If you don't expand, you're not going to leave anything behind for the generations to come.
That is fact. And like you said, you are building a generational company, if I can call it that. Any other future plans that you have that we need to know of, seeing that you are regulated now?
Something very big, but I can't disclose anything at the moment.
Damn.
I can't disclose that at the moment, but yes, there's something very big coming. So yeah, lot of time, prayer, and effort going into it.
Nah, I'm really glad I got to sit with you live, man, because tonight I learned a lot of things. You made a lot of things clear to me. Also on my end, because I must now is also going that, even though I'm not going into service provision as a influencer, I must now also going that route, because I need to have it to continue promoting IFX. But this has been inspirational, man, bro,
Thanks,
because
Oliver.
there's not that much information out there regarding getting regulated, and the requirements, the consequences, the costs. I know you didn't go like into detail with the costs and stuff, right? But one can only start to imagine, okay, now if you went that route, you had to fork out like a pretty penny. So the,
And
I'm
these are
I'm
not
just
these are
grateful
not
for this
things.
information, maybe.
Just to add on that, all these regulatory framework that we've discussed tonight, it's not something you can fuck sakes, thumb suck and just get anywhere. You need to do due diligence on the FSCA's, not only on their website but on the acts. You need to understand what's going on in the licensing, in the conduct authorities acts, the FAIS Act, and everything. You need to understand what's going on in there. If you don't, you're gonna do something wrong.
Now it's intense to see how much one can achieve in this industry when I just look at what you like have achieved in the time that you have been here, and that you have um, been a service provider. So um, with you being regulated for the clients, how are things gonna change for them?
Firstly, there's not a lot that's going to change for the clients, but how we approach doing business with our clients. But it's already kicked into place because now we're in a position where we need to do KYC. If we onboard a client, we need to do a know your client process.
Ah,
So we not only the FSCA falls into place here, the POPIA Act also falls into place. So there's a lot of things that comes with. There's a lot of baggage that comes with it. But the amount of baggage that comes with the possibilities it opens is absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it.
yo, it 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 sounds like being regulated, nah, is not as easy
Not at all.
as the thought would be. That, because even I thought I just need to study this, which I believe I'm still well on the road. But then now I'm hearing of the extra things. How?
There's a lot of things. It's not easy to get yourself regulated. Let me structure it like that. It's not about easy. It's about worth it. It's easy to write the exams, but what are you going to do after you've got your RE5, RE1, whatever? What you going to do with it? You must decide what you're going to do. You have to do your class of business in that and head into a direction. And that's the main priority, because anyone can write their RE5 through Moonstone and pass it, or RE1 and become a financial advisor. But okay, now you're a financial advisor. Under what? Now you only have your Cat 1. Now you've got your DOFA, your date of first appointment, and you passed your regulatory exam. Okay, where's your FSP? Now I need to still get an FSP. The FSP doesn't come with a regulatory exam.
I thought the FSP comes with the regulatory. I thought that if you pass the regulatory exam, you get the FSP.
No, you need to apply for FSP for the direction you're heading in. So let's say for Forex, you need to do derivatives class of business, you need to do investment class of business, you need to do shares. If you're going into long and short term insurance, you need to do long and short term insurance class. Look, I think if I'm speaking under correction, if you do your RE5, RE1, most of the framework is already there. You need full credits, and also you need, I think majority of the like long-term, short-term insurance and policies already in the RE5, RE1 exams. It's the add-ons, the additional ones, the class of businesses that you need to go do to get you fully regulated in your, remember, you can't go study for a doctor, for a general practitioner and become a cardiologist. You need to specialize into a, so that's why physicians, if you do your RE1 and you do all your classes of business, you're becoming a physician.
True. Yo, nah, God, but it seems like I have to do a whole lot more research. It seems like I have to get out to the FSCA myself also, because the amount of loopholes that you can get caught out on is insane. And I've like just learned this having this conversation with you. So Owen's in the comment section for about 10 minutes or so. We're gonna answer your questions that you may have for me or for JC.
But
So
before we do that,
questions you may have, if you feel like there's questions that I didn't ask,
I've got
the floor is yours.
I've got one question for you, and everyone wants to know, what's your verdict on this conversation? Because this has been a long time coming, and I must say I've been quite stressed when you called me and said, listen, let's do this. Or you called me out on TikTok and say, listen, let's do this. I want your verdict, and I think everyone is keen to see your verdict on what do you think about the regulations in South Africa, what's going on in the Forex industry, and what's your opinion on this whole shit show?
So obviously, as you know, like when it comes to the exposing side and all of that, I like knew we are headed in this direction where a lot of people are going to be regulated for their services. I just didn't think it would happen so fast, right? Now, when it comes to the regulation side of things, I feel that is really important as a service provider, because not only does that make you as a service provider feel trusted by the client, but it also shows that you can do the job, number one, and that you are being scrutinized by a bigger authority, if I can say it like that. Because the thing is this, like I said, the due diligence that I do, this is like surfer level shit. The FSCA goes in deep, and when I exposed what is that thing that was here in our area also, what is that thing's name, man? It's also it's almost like CashFX. I just can't get to the name. MTI. There's
yes,
when I
yes.
exposed MTI and I read about all of the documentation that they needed from the directors and stuff, I was like, yeah, these guys fucking go deep. And if it comes to a point where they have to ask you for bank records, they do that also.
100%.
So for me, the regulation is important because not only does it make you trusted with your client, like I said, but it also, and then there's the sense of credibility. Let's talk about that also. So you being regulated, I can only respect that, my bro JC. I can only take my hat off to you because, like I said, there's not a whole lot of people in this industry that's taking this as serious as you are. The verdict on this live and our conversation, I have to say, for me, this has been a very educational and informative live. The stuff that I wanted to ask you, I feel like I got to that, and the answers that I received was eye opening because even I had a limited foresight, I would say, of what I would need. And like even when it comes to the FSP, I literally thought after writing the regulatory exam, there you go, you have your number. And just you clarifying that for me, this was one of the best lives that I had ever. So
That means a lot. Thank you very much.
for me, on the sense of my verdict, that is my verdict. And when I did that call out, let me just say this now. When I did that call out on TikTok now, I knew for a fact that like you aren't a guy to shy away, man. And going into this, I told my lady, nah, this seeing that you are regulated, there's so many things that I will learn. And because she also started to create content now, and with the connections that I have, I can most easily couple a brand deal for her with one of these brokers. So we are also in a journey of getting regulated ourselves, you know. So just having the conversation with you, to me, super eye-opening, super informative, and also the clarification between the JR and being fully FSCA regulated. If I was a viewer, right, the amount of information that you gave us, nice, solid. I can only respect it, my bro. I can.
Thanks.
Only, this was a solid, one of the most solid lives I've
Look,
ever had.
and even though, remember, I'm still starting out with the whole regulatory framework. There's a lot I'm still gonna learn. I don't know it all. There's so much I
So,
still need to learn, and you can never learn enough from it because the one day it's this way, the next day it's the other way, and you need to be on the right side. That's the only thing.
now I'm really glad to hear that. I feel like the hour that I spent here with you was really informative for me. It's really gonna help me in how I'm gonna move forward and the decisions that I am gonna make because like even from that time, bro, like after we had our first altercation, I realized I this but isn't someone that backs down. If he's gonna say something, he's gonna say something, and that's that. And that is why I just felt like now I had to ask you if you want to do a live with me because like I said, we have limited information out there, and you just simplified it so like even I understand it better now.
Oh well, that's very good news. That means everyone outside they can also understand it.
Facts. So guys, 10 minutes of questions. What questions do you have for JC?
Or for idle. Well, now
Nah,
you've
they
got,
won't have
now you've got
questions for me.
ammunition to expose 500 other people.
My bro, that has been a job. But alright, we move past that.
So yes, Zito, even when writing your RE1, even passing it and working for a broker can definitely get you in trouble if the brokerage practice is bad. Absolutely, yes. You are not exempted, or you are not you're now not untouchable just because you got your driver's license. It doesn't work that way. You still need to adhere to protocol.
Zito, it's not that the information is not available, right? But it's it's nice when you can talk to someone and it can be simplified for you. You understand that is why I wanted to have JC on because um, the conversation that we had tonight was so productive, I would say, because not only do you now have the knowledge, yeah, this man is taking steps to get FSCA regulated, is moving in the right direction, but you also now know what is regulated to do, and also the consequences that should arise if he catches on cuck. And that is one thing that I can respect about him, because he even speaks about the fact that he just can't do whatever he wants to now that he's regulated. So, for me, that's just cherry on the cake, my bro. Cherry
100%.
on the cake.
And there's someone who asked you what our profitability rate is. So I want to explain something that everyone needs to understand. There's a big difference between hit rate and profitability rate. Because if your hit rate is 90% and your profitability rate is 30%, you're going to be in a deficit every month, every day.
Bro.
Your hit rate and your profitability rate need to float together. It needs to be a sequential graph that's running. Because if if a company promises you a 90% hit rate, but let's say the stop losses were 4 times the profit or the gains, that hit rate means scratch. It's your profitability rate. How much percentage of your trades is profitable within your hit rate? That's the balance you need to find.
That is nogal a solid conversation there on hit rate and profitability rate, because people generally think that a higher hit rate means
more profitability.
Yeah. But then there's people that I've seen that out of 3 trades, they would get 1 right, and the one that they got right would cover their losses and then some. So for me, it's
Look, if you actually just smart at math, if you trade with a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio, you can lose 70% of your trades and still be profitable by 20%.
Hey, that's a bar right there.
Mathematics, that's all it is.
Facts. JC, I'm gonna log off now.
Perfect.
I would like to say thank you so much, honestly, because I've learned a lot. I'm very certain my subscribers and my followers have learned a lot. Not only that you are regulated, but also the services that you provide and all that, because that is one notification, and I think this runs over a lot of people's heads, right? But when the FSCA puts out the warning, in about 95% of their warnings, they would always tell people, make sure that you find out what the people are regulated for, because some people would say they are like with veracity markets, they weren't regulated to do brokerage services, and they did that.
Absolutely. Did you know it's harder to become a financial service provider as a signal provider than what it is to start a brokerage?
Yo, that sounds intense.
Harder to become a financial service provider to provide signals and advice than to start a brokerage. Because you only need derivatives and investment under your brokerage category, and you only need a representative on board. You can use external KIs. That's what's scary.
I sincerely hope the guys that's watching, and I know a whole lot of y'all are giving services, so I'm just hoping that you guys watched, you guys listened, and you guys learned. That's the most important thing. Like JC said, you can't learn enough in this industry. There's always going to be something new for you to learn. And if you are a service provider, I sincerely believe you should take JC's word and start moving towards getting FSCA regulated. Because if not, and when I look at the fines that's been given, the debarments, like we've exposed Sandile. Sandile is debarred from giving public services for 10 fucking years. So if you don't want that to happen to you, take JC's advice. It's as simple as that. But JC, I thank you so much for joining. I
Thanks
will
to you,
not
too,
keep you
Idol.
any further. I got all of the questions that I wanted answered. I now know you are regulated. I now know the services that you are. And also, thank you so much for publicly obliging to this sort of a challenge, I would say, man, because not a lot of, and this is why I also respect you, man. Not a lot of people wants to sit with me because they are scared they're going to talk themselves into a corner.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, I would have never done this live. And obviously, there are some, the business, the whole setup is still very new. So it's going to take a week or two and everything to get me loaded on. But still, a lot of people, and I'm not one of the people that would have went on this live if this was all just fake.
Uh,
A lot of
uh,
guys that's got the balls for that, but I don't. So I wouldn't have come on this live with Rydell if what I told you tonight and what we've opened up to the public was not legitimate and accredited.
true.
Just to add on to that.
Nah, thank you
Because
so
if
much,
there's one guy
Jason.
that can expose you is this.
Do you mind? Can I post this live? Can I post it to my YouTube?
Perfect. I'm happy with
Yeah.
that.
Thank you so much, because I believe that there's a lot of people who would have learned, but they're not here to watch. So I'm just gonna post it there. Thank you
Perfect.
so much, JC. I
Thanks,
sincerely
Rydell.
appreciate you
Thanks for
making
giving me a
time for
chance on
us.
your channel.
I sincerely appreciate you giving, basically opening yourself up to us, and answering the questions to the best of your ability. I sincerely appreciate it, my brother.
Thanks to you too, Rydell. Enjoy.